All right, welcome race fans once again to MaxSpeedTV. Of course, tonight we are here bringing you the Northwest Xfinity Series. This is the MSTV 150 presented by Highway Equipment Company. We have a great race here for you tonight. 20 cars here for this race, and we are in the chase time here. We are on race 2. We do have our first winner, that is Jeff Stabnow, locking himself into the next round of 6. Right now, there's 8 drivers in the chase. 7 of those still trying to get locked in. One of them in. Again, that is Jeff Stabnow. So, without further ado, we want to go through all the sponsors, of course, that make all of this possible here on MaxSpeedTV and for the series to get us here tonight, starting with Walls Beard Co. If you have a beard, gentlemen, you need to check out wallsbeardco.com for their beard bomb products, all organic and natural products. Definitely worth checking out if you have a beard. SimSpeedShop.com. If you are an iRacer, and most likely you might be if you're watching this broadcast, check them out at SimSpeedShop.com. They got some great button boxes that you can customize for yourself, and also have some new e-brakes for you rallycross racers, as that just came to iRacing here this year, so you can make sure you check that out as well. Northwest Racing Series, not only is that the series you're watching here tonight, you can also look them up at Northwest Racing Series if you are in the Northwest iRacing Club here on iRacing. They are the official one-to-go sponsor here for MaxSpeedTV. Ohio IndyCar League, definitely check these guys out if you're looking to get in some IndyCar racing. They do a fantastic job. You can check them out at facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League for all of the latest details on that. Again, they are no longer just taking Ohio club members. iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. Jason Allison does a fantastic job. The graphics you see here were done by him, of course. And some of our own people as well, but most 90% of the graphics here were done by him. Fantastic job. He is your sim race broadcast graphics source. Again, message Jason Allison. You can find him at ibog.co. And coming on recently, not sure why the logo is not there. We do apologize. That is Hershey Design Company. So if you're needing a wrap here on iRacing for your car, make sure you check out Hershey Design Company. Not sure why that logo is not showing up in the overlays, but that is one of our newest partners here at MaxSpeedTV. And of course, on the racing side of things, they also have Walls Beard Co. So make sure you do check them out again for all your beard products. New leader. There are 2 divisions of Highway Equipment Company, the presenting sponsor here, and one of those, of course, is New Leader. The other one is Highway. Both of them, again, can be found at highwayequipment.com. Make sure you check them out. Give them a big shout out for coming on as the presenting sponsor for this series and a general sponsor for the truck series on Thursday night. Give them a shout out. Definitely let them know you are thankful for what they do here on this series and of course on the other series. But that being said, we are just about ready to wrap up all of that. Before we get into the racing stuff though, we do of course want to introduce, as always, our second chair here tonight. That is a KR Stolfus.
What's going on, Charles? Glad to see you out here tonight. So glad I could join you and the Northwest Xfinity Series here at Charlotte. Man, I've got to tell you what, this track is bad, fast, and we're going to see these guys really rail it here around this 1.5 mile high-banked tri-oval.
I guess tri-oval, technically I think it's labeled as a quad oval, but regardless, it is a different track here, so definitely going to be interesting, as I have caught up with quite a few of these drivers since we've been talking. And, you know, while we're racing the Xfinity cars, really, according to the drivers, it's more of a dump truck is what they're calling it, as it is pushing really hard after a very few laps. And speaking of that, we will pull up our pre-race analysts here. Partly cloudy, 2 miles per hour out of the north as usual. 104-degree track. You would think that means a very slippery track, but it's not. These cars are pushing extremely hard tonight.
They're pushing really hard because, you know, these guys are trying to carry as much speed as they can into these things. And really getting into turn one, that's going to be really tricky tonight. They're going to come off that front stretch, transition into turn one, and these cars are going to get super, super light on them, especially if you get just a little bit too high on your corner entry.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, speaking of that, we have 100 laps here tonight, 150 miles. We talked to, again, these drivers. Tire window 3 to 7 laps. That is not a lot of laps at all before these tires really start to fall off. However, fuel window 32 to 37 laps. So that is a huge window there. That is a difference of anywhere, well, just about 30 lap difference there between tires and fuel. So this could get really interesting here.
Gonna be interesting all night, and like I said, the spot we really need to watch for is turn one. There's gonna be a lot of action going on there. A lot of times we talk about corner exit being where we want to watch. Here at Charlotte, I like to watch how people get into the corners, because it can get very, very tricky, very loose, very fast. So we might see a couple guys lose it on corner entry here at Charlotte.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting indeed, as turn one is a nightmare to get in. You can't enter too low either. If you do, or typically anyway, in the past, if you enter too low in there, you will spin it out pretty easy. And we've seen them spinning out coming out of pit road, so they're gonna have to watch that as well.
Trying to get up to speed when you exit pit road is very difficult here at Charlotte for some reason. Don't know why, but this track really doesn't like you accelerating unless you are actually on the racing surface above that white line. I can't tell you how many times I've spun out and how many different cars I've raced on this thing when I try and accelerate a little too fast on the bottom there.
Yeah, it's a very, very tricky track. And, you know, it's going to be whoever can master this track the best is going to come away with the win here for sure. But that being said, we do want to pull up our point standings here. They're a little bit different the way we have them set up on here. But Jeff Stabenow is locked in. He has a win. He's moving on to the next round based off of last week's win. However, Chris White is right behind him. And for the viewers out there that are watching, you can see on the point standings, it looks like there's, you know, two groups here. It's obviously 9th place Scott Mann, who we know is a very fast driver. He's 1,690 points out of first place right now. He cannot get first place. He's mathematically locked out of it. However, you'll see 4 points behind him is Corey Walters. That is not 4 points to the lead. That is actually 4 points to 9th place. So you have the first 8 right now are really battling for those top 6 positions. Everyone behind them is battling for just the top 10 position at this point.
It's a very intense battle. I mean, as you can see, Chris White, he's really very close on points on making it in, but he wants that win to really secure it, because pretty much you win, you're in.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they want. They want to win to get in, and we've seen him be very quick lately. So has Jeff Stabenow. Carl Burke, he's sitting currently 5th fastest here in practice, so he's going to be someone to look out for as well. And one that really needs the win here, that's Brett Johnson. He's 2nd fastest right now in practice. He's 46 points out because he missed the last week's race. So he definitely needs a win, and he may have the speed in that car tonight to possibly get that win.
It's very possible, week in, week out, fast driver, just unable to get it in that victory circle yet. Here in this situation, as Jeff Stabenow was the one that stole the first win here in the chase. But these guys, you know, there's no quit in them. No one's going to give up and just roll over and let Jeff Stabenow win everything, even though he says he never does.
And we do want to note here, last week we watched the battle between Chris White and Jeff Stabenow, so we'll get rid of those point standings for you. That battle was done in the last 10-12 laps. Jeff Stabenow didn't even have car sounds for probably about 6 of that. He had a mic issue, which we also dealt with Thursday, but he couldn't hear anything. He's been fighting that mic. Hopefully it's working better for him here tonight. but his car sounds going out, couldn't talk, couldn't communicate with anyone. So to be able to battle side by side for about 10 to 12 laps without even being able to hear your car just goes to the testament of how good these drivers are.
It is. It's very disorienting when you're in your sim, and we're already limited on our feel for a lot of drivers. We can't really feel a car moving. And so when we lose yet another sensory input, say our sound or maybe even force feedback, it really sets you back, really puts you on your back heels, and you have to reach in a little bit deeper and find a way to pull out some talent. And Jeff Stabnow managed to do just that and pull off the win.
He did indeed, and he's up there right now. Chris White, the one that finished in second behind him, is your fastest time right now with a 30.728. So he's going to be someone we have to look out for here tonight as well, or they have to look out for. We're going to be watching him in the race here tonight. But we want to remind everyone, especially thanks for tuning in here tonight. Just awesome that you've all tuned in here. You're going to get an awesome race here with the Northwest Xfinity Series. But we want to let everyone know what's coming up later this week here on MaxSpeedTV. Of course, tomorrow we do have the Race Core Truck Series and the Nork iRacing Series. And I believe, Kara, do you have anything coming up this week or tomorrow?
Tomorrow I am off tomorrow, as I usually do the Racing for a Cause Xfinity Series, but they follow the actual NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're off for 2 weeks with those. But Wednesday night, the Racing for a Cause late models will kick off the Cerebral Palsy Foundation 100.
Well, they got that, as well, of course, is the SRA Global Rallycross Series. That is the season finale for that series Wednesday night. So, again, that's coming up later this week. And, of course, Upper Edge Racing, so we'll be covering them Wednesday night as well. So two more great races coming up this week. We have a lot of stuff here on MaxSpeedTV just about every night of the week. This week I am actually off Friday and Saturday again, so very interesting there to get some extra time off here from the broadcasting scene. But of course we'll be back Sunday with some more racing. So a lot of great stuff here, and we have just about 7 minutes here. We got through those point standings pretty quick. Let's see if we can pull Brett Johnson up here and have a quick word with him.
Brett Johnson, KR and Charles up in the broadcast booth, man. You got a copy?
We may be having some mic issues with him as well. But again, we're hoping to get a word in with Brett here, who is still second fastest. So we'll see if we can't get a word in with him here in just a little bit. We'll see if we can get a line of communication open with him. But again, we have a lot of fast drivers in the top 5, even top 10 right now, that are in the chase. Most notably, I want to take a look at Bryan Barnes. He's still sitting currently in 4th in points, 8 points out of a second right now, and he's somebody we can never count out. You look at him early in the race and you think, he's starting in the back because he chooses it usually, and about halfway through the race you think, well, it doesn't look like he's moving anywhere, and then somehow he puts it in another gear and he's up towards the front of the race.
Yeah, he finds a way to make it work at the end of the race. I don't know if he likes to hold back and reserve his stuff for that final few lap charge or what it is, but this guy, he does like to start at the back. He doesn't like to qualify. When he does qualify, he tends to qualify very well, but he just prefers to start at the back, and it's always a good time watching him come through the field.
It is indeed, as he's good, and a little bit back from him time-wise as far as speed anyway. That is Scott Mann. Actually, he's not behind him. He's actually ahead of my bad, but Scott Mann, he's another one that is just, ridiculously fast. We've seen him dominate in this series. So the question is, will he do that again here tonight? He is the ninth place car, so he can't get into the top 10 or the top 8 and win the championship. But he is holding on to a top 10 position in points, and we'll just have to kind of see if he can do it. But he's definitely someone that could easily dominate a race if he gets out front.
Clean air is good. You know, catching somebody is one thing. Passing them is entirely something different. It's going to be very hard to pass here at Charlotte on fresh tires because everyone's going to be very fast. Everyone's going to be hooked up, running the bottom. And, you know, when they get a couple laps in on their tires, that's when we're really going to start seeing guys start to move around and find lanes that there isn't a car in, and we might see some really good passing then.
Yeah, definitely would agree with that. And another one here, John Ottbacher. He's very fast in that 89 car. He is out of the chase right now. He is back in 14th in points, so he's another one that, you know, mathematically eliminated from the chase. But he could be a factor in this race. And I'm kind of curious, you know, if he gets up there, he doesn't. The only teammate he has is Jeff Stabnow that's in the chase, so he has no worries. If he gets up there and Jeff is behind him for some reason in second, they're running first and second, he can run him. He's already got that win, so he doesn't have to worry about, you know, taking him out of the chase or anything as far as that. So he's really got no reasons to, you know, take it easy on Jeff because he is in. However, he could be a factor for Chris White, Carl Burke, any of these guys. Matt Henry as well. We haven't talked about him a whole lot. He is currently in 15th in the board here for practice, but he is in the top 8 right now.
Yeah, Matt Henry is crazy fast in the 19 machine. And you know what? Another one, someone that you tend to root for, David Applegate in the 23.
Yeah, he is there as well, so we'll see if he can do it. He's 14 points out of second, trying to get his way in there on a win as well. He is currently sitting in 11th fastest with a 30.907. A lot of people here are running 30.7s, 30.8, so we could see some really close racing, which is always a good thing. But with this car, this setup being a fixed setup, the way it's handling, you know, that could be very dangerous for some drivers. As we've seen earlier, if somebody tries to get out of the way and get into the high side, it pushes up into the wall. So, you know, you get 10, 12 laps in, if we haven't had a caution, we may start to see some guys get into that outside wall, and hopefully they don't come back down right into the field.
Turn 4 is notorious for cars bouncing off the outside wall, slicing back across the field, and really causing as much havoc as possible. In fact, I may know a guy who uses that tactic to seek his revenge and not get reported by iRacing.
Well, definitely I wouldn't tell his name out here too. But we got about a minute 25 left here in practice, as we are going to step away and get to the national anthem. We'll be right back here in just a few moments after the national anthem with qualifying.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, we are back here for qualifying, and again, it's going to be a good one here, as it looks like Mike Peterson is going to be the first car out on the track, so we'll pull up your driver bar, and we'll get to the times here in just a minute. I want some more people put in times, as nobody has just yet, but Mike Peterson, the only car, I believe, out on the track right now, so very interesting as a slow start here for qualifying.
A lot of drivers like to see about kind of putting in that intimidating factor, that laid back, that calm, cool, collected vibe, so they kind of wait till the end. But Mike Peterson, he's kind of like me. Hey man, I want to get out, I want to get qualified done as quick as possible, because then I know I can turn a couple more laps, get just that last bit of practice in, because laps are everything in racing. The more laps you can do, the better off you're going to be.
They are indeed, and we just switched our ticker there at the top, so you can see who is in the chase. It's obviously signified by the chase driver part under it, and the advanced for the 24-hour stab now, meaning he is in the chase. But again, that is what that is for, as it looks like Mike Peterson's going to put in a time of a 31:463. Obviously, it'll be a little faster here in just a minute. As Andy Vogt out on the track as well, so everyone is on the track now, starting to put in some laps. Once a few more people get laps in, we'll pull up that little chart for you, but there are 20 drivers here tonight. So this is very interesting. We're missing some of our normals here. Kip Leo not here. To mention that, I believe Tom Green is here. He is. So Case Hinkins not here. Kip Leo not here. So a couple of drivers we're used to seeing are not here.
They're not, but one car that we are used to seeing at the front, that's the 9 of Corey Walters. He's currently got quick time of a 30.749.
Is indeed, as we'll go ahead and pull up your top 20 times here in qualifying. Again, they will only populate here on the screen as they come in. Only 4 drivers have put in times. As you said, Corey Walters is the fastest time right now. Andy's Vogt, there he goes, putting in a time 30.696, and he'll take it to the top in that number 10 machine here tonight.
Andy Vogt, your pole sitter for right now, but as we're talking about, Brad Cornell's going to set the fast time with a 30.647.
He is indeed, and what a good time for him. And he is definitely someone we are going to have to keep an eye on. He is not in the top 8, so he doesn't have a shot at the championship. He's out here trying to get wins and just get all the seat time he can. So that is what he is doing. John Ottenbacher going to be spinning it there just a little bit, but he puts in a 30.945 to go to 8th place. And it looks like Gary Nichols is out on the track now, as well as Scott Mann, and Nichols going to put in a 30.717 to go to 3rd place.
Gary Nichols in the 8, like you said, 3rd place. Bryan Barnes in the 4 machine, he's currently in 5th spot, so he has elected to qualify this time. Once again, he's somebody who tends to not qualify, but when he does qualify, it's up towards the front. And right now, he's sitting in 5th, but it looks like he has pulled off and is done with his qualifying run. So now we're just waiting for what we'll say all the showmanship drivers to get their laps in.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we're seeing Scott Mann out there as Carl Burke's going to put in a 31.087. Corey Walters was at the top. He has dropped to 4th right now with a 30.749. But Scott Mann, it's going to be interesting. I have a feeling he's going to be in the top 5. He very well could take the pole based on his time. We'll see. His time is going to be going in and it's a 30.817 to put him in 7th. So I really figured his first lap would be a little bit faster than that, but we'll definitely be watching his second lap. As we just talked about in the pre-race show, he is somebody you have to watch out for.
He is. He's going to be very fast. He's looking very solid here down the backstretch, running the high line. He cooked it going into 3 and 4. That is going to scrap his second lap. Looked like he was on pace for a very good lap, but overdrove turn 3, got into the wall, and that is it for his qualifying session.
It is indeed. Matt Henry out on the track. He is in the top 8, as well as Jeff Stabnow. Stabnow, we will go and watch here in a second, but 30.862 for Matt Henry to put himself in 9th. We will keep an eye on that as he is a chase driver. Jeff Stabnow, though, right now he has advanced to the next round. So he is somebody, even though he's already locked himself in, he's somebody we have to watch, because he could potentially get the win here tonight and really put the pressure on these other 7 drivers to have to get the win in the 3rd and final race in the next round, or to get into the next round.
Jeff's strategy from here on out is to win everything. That creates pressure on the other drivers, creates mistakes. And very possible you could eliminate someone who you view as a strong competitor to make it into the next round, and they have a bad race. You force them to win a chase berth based off of points because you win all 3 races and they fall short. Man, you've just eliminated competition. You've made your job of getting through the next round maybe just that much easier.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to do. And right now he just ran a 30.816, and he is going to slow it down, so he is not going to get up there here. We have 3 minutes still left. As we know, week in and week out, we're sitting here watching the 35 of Chris White in that DeWalt Toyota. Again, he is notorious for doing this. He will sit out there and just wait for everyone else to go out on the track before he comes out. That is his little signature move. So we're going to just have to keep an eye on him, as there he is starting to roll out here with 3 minutes left to go.
3 minutes left to go. Now, I heard a little rumor that he likes to do that because he is my pick for tonight's race win, and he wanted to make sure I was watching.
Well, that very well could be why he did it. And we are going to be watching him the whole time, as he's the only one left out on the track. So we will cover his qualifying here from warm-up lap to his second lap, as we'll just have to kind of wait and see where he puts it in. Again, he was fast last week. I don't see why that would change this week. The question is, can he get up there to try to battle with Brad Cornell or Andy Vogt? Brad Cornell putting in a heck of a run, though. 30.647. One of the only 2 30.6 second laps here tonight.
Watching Chris White, looks like he's just missing his mark a little bit going into turn 3 here on the opening lap, as he overdrove it just a touch. We'll see if he can get a little bit better here on the final lap. Maybe the tires needed to come up to temperature, burn off a little bit more of that fuel, as he gets right on the white line here through 1 and 2.
And even getting it a little there, it didn't matter. He still got pole with a 30.631, 0.16 faster than Brad Cornell. So once again, he is going to be a fast driver here. But again, this is just qualifying. These are not the times we're going to see in the race. So that is really going to be the key. Can they maintain a steady pace during the race?
It is all about the race. Qualifying has never really given anybody a trophy. So the race is where it's at, man.
Yes, it is. The race is where it all happens. And again, we talked about it earlier, laps here, 3 to 7 laps before you have some serious fall off, possibly even 5 laps before some serious fall off. But pit window is going to be 32 to 37 laps, assuming if they short pit or take it to the very end. So, you know, a 30 lap gap between your tires and fuel, that is a huge gap, probably one of the biggest we've seen here in this Northwest Xfinity Series. So it's going to be awesome to see who can handle these cars, as we have about 18 seconds left here. So next up will be your Walls and Beard Co. Starting grid. Chris White going to be on a pole for that here in about 5 seconds now.
Well, grab a stopwatch, grab your drink, grab whatever you need to do to get strapped in and hold on tight for this race, because we're here at Charlotte. We're going to rip this track apart with these Xfinity cars here tonight. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to see Chris White bring it home and my pick for the race win. Going to make me happy tonight. I can feel it.
Well, we will see. Of course, always going with Jeff Stabnow for the win. He's already won. I always go with him, but I'm thinking we might see Brett Johnson possibly sitting in victory lane. We'll just have to kind of wait and see how it all plays itself out, as everyone is getting onto the track here for the grid. So, Carrie, you want to run through our first 4 rows for us here for the Walls Beard Co. starting grid, and I will finish us off here tonight.
For sure, I've got to tell you, Chris White with a 30.630 on pole. He is going to be bad fast here in these opening stages, and look for him to be bad fast towards the end of it as well. Brad Cornell on his outside let down a heck of a lap with a 30.647. So our front row really, really tight here in qualifying. Andy Vogt, Gary Nichols going to make up Walls Beard Co. row number 2. Those guys both are going to be battling it out. Be watching for Andy Vogt on that inside line to try and get down underneath Brad Cornell down the backstretch. Row number 3 is going to be made up of Corey Walters and Bryan Barnes in the 4 machine. Row 4, Brett Johnson, and on his outside, your pick for tonight, Jeff Stabnow.
And on row 5 is going to be Scott Mann in the 90 machine, and the 23 of David Applegate, another one of your chase drivers. Row 6 is going to be another chase driver, Matt Henry in the 19, and the 77 of Tom Green. Row 7 is going to be John Ottenbacher and the 51 of James Dalziel. Row 8 is going to be another chase contender here, the 53 of Carl Burke and the 14 of Mike Peterson. Row 9 is going to be the 31 of Brad Carpenter and the 33 of Josh Coley. And rounding out your fields here tonight in row 10, it is going to be Gerald Heffley and the 61 and the 00 of Frank Harris. Again, 20 drivers making the fields here tonight, and it is just about that time. Lights are off, so we're going racing next time by.
That Ford Mustang pace car is going to peel off onto pit road here as soon as it clears off turn 4. That'll put Chris White in command of this field. He has the option to go at any time once the pace car is off. So we'll see if he's going to go on green or if he's going to go somewhere before then. I got to tell you, if I'm sitting in the second row inside Andy Vogt, I got to keep my eyes deadlocked on what Chris White is doing, because I want to try and get by that 18 of oh crap, I just drew a blank on his name.
Well, yeah, you're speaking
Brad.
right there. Brad Cornell with the grid is a green flag is out. We are racing here for the first time at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 100 laps on the books. Lap number 1 is underway, and those front 2 really got a huge start here to lead this race, as we're going to zoom in a little bit closer here so you can see these guys. Again, this race getting underway, and Brad Cornell, he is running all over the back bumper of Chris White, and he may try to make a bid for the lead here in these first laps. Those is when the tires are fresh.
Brad Cornell did a great job of reading when Chris White was going to go. He was able to follow him down the front stretch, tuck in right behind him, coming out of 2 on the back stretch, and now we got 1 lap completed. These guys are tearing it off into turn number 2. Down the backstretch we go as Chris White starting to open up a little bit of a lead, and Andy Vogt closing the gap on Brad Cornell.
He is, and indeed Andy Vogt's reeling him in very quickly. Gary Nichols coming in here as well, so he may be a player in this game. So again, all these are going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. Bryan Barnes, he is another one of your contenders here, sitting in 4th place, and he is also getting into the mix of things. And again, we can't count any of these drivers out, as right now those are a lot of chase drivers right there in the top 5.
Yeah, a lot of drivers there in the top 5. We got one, Gary Nichols, looking to the inside.
He is indeed. Gary Nichols going to try to get there, and he's sliding up. You see him get real close to the 18. He actually touched there. That is not intentional. That is just the product of here on 3 laps. Now the 4th lap. These cars just cannot turn. They push up so hard. And we're going to see quite a bit of that here tonight, I think.
We sure are, and it's going to be very easy to overdrive the corner here tonight because you carry so much speed. You have to actually start lifting the throttle a lot sooner than you think you need to. Otherwise, you're going to just start scraping the wall at the middle of the corner or exit of the corner.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that at all. But Chris White out front at the moment. He is moving forward as we're going to put our interval ticker up there so you can see the gap from the leader. But again, Chris White out front. And right now he has no plans of backing down from this lead right now, as he is doing a fantastic job of doing it. To go back here a little bit, we're going to check in with Jeff Stab now. Looking at him, he started 8th. He's all the way up to 5th. And it looks like he's going to get by Brad Cornell here to take 4th. He is working his way to the front very quickly.
Brad Cornell had a big moment coming out of turn 2 just a lap ago. He's fading fast here in this race trim. Maybe he's trying to hold back, save something, or maybe they have just missed the setup, but he's going to be one of these guys that's wanting an early pit stop as he is dropping through the field.
Yeah, he is definitely going the wrong direction. And remember, he had a contact between him and the 10 of Andy Vogt earlier, so he may have scraped the wall after that as well. So he has contact. He wants to get in and get that damage repaired as quickly as possible, so he doesn't possibly go a lap down. If he keeps falling like he is, there is a threat he might go a lap down. But again, right now he's sitting in 6th place, so he still has plenty of cars between him as a 19 getting into the outside wall. So far, no caution though.
He's down below the white line. Unfortunately for him, that is not going to bring out a caution. It's going to keep the race going as he was not on the racing surface. But he has got that thing rolling, and he is heading back up to speed. Probably going to pull on the pit road and get his damage fixed, as it looks like extensive damage to the right front.
And he is one of our chase drivers here tonight. He is sitting in 5th place. So that is not the way he expected it to go here. For him, the good news for him, if there's a silver lining to anything here tonight, is the fact that Brett Johnson did miss a race, so he's got a huge lead over him. So to fall to 8th place in the points, probably unlikely. As long as he doesn't fall to 7th, he should still be good. But they still have one more race, so everyone might have a mulligan here and have to use it, and we'll see if this is his tonight.
Scott Man has just come onto pit road as well. Not sure what happened with him in that 90 machine, but he is on pit road, and in fact he is packed it up and headed behind the wall.
He has indeed. I'm not sure what may have happened to him, as we didn't even get to take a look really, but these front cars have really spread out here. Chris White out front, followed by Andy Vogt, Gary Nichols, Jeff Stabnell, and Bryan Barnes. Those are your top 5. You have to go all the way back to about the 6th place, 7th car of Brett Johnson before you really start seeing any grouped up cars here, and that would include David Applegate in that 23.
Corey Walters in the 9 machine right behind them. Heavy pressure by the 89 of John Ottenbacher, though, is keeping him trying to run a little bit of a defensive line. It looked like, got a little bit loose coming out of turn 2 as that tire wear is really starting to take effect.
Yeah, it really is. Again, tire wear is so crucial here. That again, we talked about it, 3 to 7 laps, and these tires are just gone. As we will already note here, looking at times, we'll take a look here at our race times if we can pull those up really quick. Here we go. Your race times here, your fastest times are 30.837 for the 35 of Chris White. He just ran a 31.881.
Contact between the 23 of David Applegate and 18 of Brad Cornell. Big moment coming into turn 3. Both drivers straighten it out and keep going.
They do indeed, and we were watching that right in front of John Ottenbacher. I'm sure he's glad they straightened that out as well, as he was right behind them trying to get in there. And right behind them was another one of our chase drivers as well, of Carl Burke. So you get one chase driver mixing it up in there, actually two with David Applegate getting in this. So, that was a very scary moment, I'm sure, for a few cars, even if they weren't involved in that.
John Applegate in that 89 machine has managed to clear him. He's got a little bit of clean track in front of him, and he is currently in 7th place, setting sail for 6th.
He is indeed moving forward, and it looked like Bryan Barnes may have had a connection issue there for a split second. So we look up here to Gary Nichols. Andy Vogt even in this, I do believe. Yes, he is. Jeff Stabenow trying to get by Gary Nichols. That's a battle for 3rd position right now, as these front 3 cars here, minus Chris White, 4 cars really have grouped back together here, and they're starting to make some passes, which, again, here we are on lap 15. That is a very scary thought here, to have 15 laps in. They're over a second slower, as they're now running 32-second laps when their fastest lap was a 30.8, so they're almost 2 seconds off of their times.
They sure are, and Andy Vogt in that Oregon State Chevy Camaro doing a good job holding on to 2nd spot. He's not losing a whole lot of ground as the caution is coming out.
It is the 33 of Josh Coley coming out, one of our new drivers here, so let's go back and take a look. What happened to the 33? It looks like he's relatively by himself here. How he does, we'll see. The 18 gets into the wall. I'm not sure. I don't think that played a factor into it, but he gets into the wall again. Oh, he came down a little bit maybe, in the 77 might have gotten into him. I'm not sure. Let's go back again and let's look at that from the blimp here and see might have happened. I can't tell, maybe you can see from your angle if he came down or maybe if the 77 went up just a little bit.
Josh Coley was just trying to find a way around the 18 that was in the wall. Unfortunately, the 77 of Tom Green was already as far down as he could go and running out of room. Coley just trying to avoid an accident. Looks like he's going to cut down across the 77 of Tom Green.
Yeah, this is what it looked like here from this angle. The classic case of not enough real estate for that many cars. Everybody was checking up, trying to avoid the incident, but again, not enough real estate for everyone, and unfortunately it's gonna be the 33 of James Coley that is the unlucky one here, you might say, as everybody coming down pit road. That's exactly what we expected to see.
Everyone on pit road, 4 tires all around. Give me some 4 fresh ones, maybe a drink of water, and get back out there. And Chris White looks like he's going to be the first one off the pit road once again.
I do believe he is as well. So he is coming out on pit road here. And this, again, going to be an interesting battle once again, as everyone will be bunched up once again. And then now they have some fresh tires and some fuel in those. We had completed 17 laps before that caution came out, so 16, my bad. So, that is well beyond the 3 to 7 laps that we expected before we would see one. So, the rate it's going, we have seen this before, KR, when they know the tires are just horrible and they're bad to run on, they seem to race a little cleaner.
Yeah, it causes you to step up a little bit, get those elbows up, but you want to get to the end of the race and you don't want to do anything stupid. So you have to try and pace yourself, so to speak. And speaking of pacing yourself, I believe 124 machine driven by Jeff Stabenow has received a penalty of sorts. He has had to go all the way to the back of the line.
He is indeed. Let's check in. Let's check in with the 24 and see what that penalty might have been.
Jeff, KR, and Charles up in the broadcast booth. You got your ears on?
Yeah, I got you, Charles.
Well, we're curious here. We see you going to the back. Did you get caught speeding on pit road, or what might have happened there?
Yeah, I got caught speeding.
Well, that does sneak too, because, man, we saw you moving up. You started 8th, and you were moving your way up to 4th. You'd gained 4 spots. Now back in 17th. So, obviously, the strategy, we already know what it is to keep the car clean, especially here with the way these tires are. But we went 16 laps there before we got the first caution. And the caution wasn't really because of the tires. It was just people trying to avoid someone getting into the wall. So, as far as these tires go, how are they actually handling in here? Is it a little bit better maybe, or is it just really finessing this car to get that many laps?
I don't know that you're finessing the car to get that many laps, but you really got to finesse it to get any speed. I found quite a bit of speed dropping low there off of 3, but that's a feat to get this after about 5 laps to get this car to turn low. Takes a lot of finesse. There's some speed in it, but yeah, it's not like we're pushing into the wall too bad there on that first 16 lap run, but it's really hard to run any line other than the kind of middle line right now, and it just wants to push.
Well, we don't want to keep here. We saw the 1 to go there, so we'll let you get up there. Obviously, you're sporting the new leader on board camera here tonight, and we'll watch you, and we'll watch you get back through this field here tonight, and with any luck, we'll see you in the top 3.
10-4, and that's a Camaro, Chuck.
Oh, yeah, it is. My bad.
Thanks, guys.
All right, well, there you have it. That was Jeff Stabno. He's going to be trying to fight his way back up to the front, but there it is. Pace car is diving off, and right about there it is. A green flag is out. We're racing once again here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Lap number 21 is underway of 100. Chris White still out front.
He is your race leader, has led the most laps so far tonight. In fact, he's led about 20 of them. We're on lap 21. This guy is going to be bad fast all night, but here comes Bryan Barnes in the 4 underneath the 10 to Andy Vogt, as we're going to have a change of hands for second spot.
We are indeed, and again, we talked about that sleeper cell that Bryan Barnes is, and he is in the chase. And he is trying to work his way up to the front of this field. He's already there to the front, but he wants to get to the front. He wants to get the lead, and he is so fast. I don't see why he couldn't get there. He is a very fast driver. He's just got to get up there. We'll look at their last laps: 32.9, 32.9. So both of them running 32.9s. That last lap, even though it was a warm-up lap, Bryan Barnes actually was a little bit faster, as this time he's going to be faster again. So Bryan Barnes quite a bit faster than Chris White on that last lap.
Quite a bit faster as far as an oval Xfinity race at Charlotte is concerned, but we're talking hundredths of a second, but those are all going to add up here to a very possible pass for the lead.
It will be, and that is a Ford versus a Toyota here. So this could be interesting. If you look, our top 3 are Toyota, Ford, and then a Chevrolet. So we have one of each manufacturer here in the top 3. So all 3 manufacturers being well represented here tonight. So the question is, which one of them will roll into victory lane? Based off of times, it does look like the Ford here, Bryan Barnes, is the fastest. But you can't ever count anyone out here. It looks like we'll check in with Jeff Stab now. He has gained 1 position, and that will be getting by Gerald Heffley. Actually 2 positions, since he's passed James Dalzell and Gerald Heffley. So he's working his way back to the front. And, you know, we always want to talk about the 89 of John Ottenbacher. He's in 7th. We'll see, can he get up to the front as well?
Yeah, John Ottenbacher inside the top 10 very solidly right now. having a good opening race for him. Be watching for this guy to make his way all the way to the front. And, typically he's got his fan club, waiting to hear from them. And if not, man, I'll have to step up and start cheering for him like they usually do.
He's definitely got the fan club out there, so I expect to see some fans rooting for him. I believe it's Christy. I don't see her in chat here tonight. We'll see if she is there. I'm sure she is. She will definitely be typing in there before long. And, I don't see Mark Walls here tonight, so I believe he is at work. So he is another one that, if he's here, would be up front. But he is not here at the moment, so that is very interesting. Not interesting, he is at work, but, he could make it a lot interesting for these guys if he was here, because he would be very fast, and it would put a lot of pressure on these guys.
And Mark Wells is definitely a front runner here in the series when he can get there. But like you said, he's at work right now. John Ottenbacher currently running 7th. The 53 machine of Carl Burke is 6th. And Brett Johnson in the 7 machine, he's rounding out your top 5 right now. And it looked like he was about ready to make a move on the 8 of Gary Nichols as he gets a good run down the backstretch.
Yeah, we'll just have to watch these guys. Again, everyone, especially those 4th, 5th, and 6th, they are really there to bunched up tight. And Carl Burke in the 53, he's definitely one that is putting up a good run. Again, we want to reiterate, he is a chase driver at the moment. He is currently 3rd place. Yes, he is 3rd place in points. Excuse me. He is 6 points out of 2nd. He does not have a win, so he needs a win here tonight. But so does Chris White, and Chris White is doing the job he needs to do. He is out front leading this race, and like you said earlier, he has led every lap. He has led 28 laps, now going to be 29 right there at the line.
Chris White, a solo team effort with SimStar Motorsports, currently got the 4 machine of Bryan Barnes tucked behind him. Barnes is out of the Atlas Finishers stable. Him and Carl Burke working together here tonight. So Carl Burke, Bryan Barnes, those guys inside the top 5 as teammates. So about ready to see a epic team battle shape up here.
And it'll have to wait because the caution's coming out, and it is going to be the 77 of Tom Green. Let's go back and take a look. What happened to the 77 of Tom Green here? Had a fairly clean car here in that number 77 Mustang. We'll see what went wrong for him here as he was battling. Oh, he got cut off by, I'm not sure who that was.
The double zero, Frank Harris.
It was indeed, as we'll take a look. That was a sharp cutoff. We'll go back again here and pull to the blimp camera. But yeah, that door closed very quickly, and it looked like maybe Jeff Stabnow got into the back of him as well.
Yeah, Frank Harris got very loose coming off of turn 2. Wasn't an intentional cutoff, but he was chasing that car all over the track, and Frank Harris just had nowhere to go.
That is true, and just right there, contact was made as it's coming up here. There it is, way loose. Yeah, from the angle earlier, it looked like he just came up and tried to block him. But you're right, from that angle there, we can see he got way out of shape and just trying to save it. Did a fairly good job of saving it until he got rear-ended from behind, but no faults of anybody. Just a product of some really bad tires here as everyone is coming down pit road. And once again, Chris White will lead him off pit road after that pit stop.
Chris White, first one off pit road. Gonna have another set of 4 fresh tires. Bryan Barnes in 2nd. Andy Vogt 3rd. Carl Burke gonna be your 4th one off pit road. And then Gary Nichols will round out your top 5.
You will indeed. Again, such a good battle so far in this race. As you know, you just want to know who's gonna win, but we really don't know yet who is gonna win this race. Chris White has been the dominant car, but again, this is racing, and anything can happen. and very well could happen. So you can't count your chickens before they're hatched here. But, you know, we do have a onboard camera here with Chris White, so let's go ahead and pull him down here real fast and get a quick word in with him and see if he's got a strategy.
Chris White, KR and Charles up in the broadcast booth. You got your ears on?
Hey guys, what's going on?
Well, we see you are out front here. You've been out front for 32 laps now. You've had 2 cautions, and you've managed to come out on front, or out front here after both pit stops. So again, these tires, we've heard they're just total junk after about 3 to 7 laps. Definitely you're falling off on your times. So is there a strategy to keeping this car going in the right direction?
You know, honestly, in practice, I was kind of feeling nervous about this race. Didn't think I'd have the car to keep up, but, you know, I adjusted the steering ratio a little bit, and then I put the car number 1 on the practice charts. And as far as the race, I'm up front. I plan to stay up front. Tire wear is an issue. Tire wear is an issue. It is for sure. It's hard to keep the car down low on the white line in the corners. It's more better to run the midline, but I am making the low line work, and to be honest, the tire wear is not all that bad.
Well, that is definitely good if it's not as bad as we thought it would be. We got 1 to go here, so hopefully, you know, with any luck, and definitely you got the skill out there, you'll put that DeWalt number 35 in victory lane here and secure your place into the chase. But we'll let you go here, and again, you know, with any luck, we'll see you in victory lane after this race.
Hey, that's the plan. Hope we see you in victory lane. We'll see you at the end of the race. Thanks, guys.
All right, again, that was a quick word with Chris White in that 35 DeWalt machine, and we'll see if he can put it in victory lane here as they are gearing up to get this thing going. And KR, we'll let you get them started here for the restart here for the third caution, or I believe third caution. Take a look here real fast. The second caution here for 8 laps.
Chris White minding his manners right now behind that pace car, but he's about to just tear into that wildebeest once he gets his foot in that throttle. We're going to rip down the front straightaway here as soon as the pace car is off. Green flag will fly. Let's go racing one more time. Here we go. Chris White, Bryan Barnes, drag race down into turn number 1. Bryan Barnes on the outside lane. Chris White, so far, he said he's been making that inside lane work. So both drivers in the lane that they would like to be in. Who's it going to be coming out onto the backstretch?
It is indeed the lap 35 of 100, and it's going to be Chris White once again leading this race. He's just had such a dominant car. It's just crazy how fast he has been, as we got someone into the wall, and I believe that is the 53 of Carl Burke that made his Charlotte stripes here tonight, and he's going to leave some serious marks on as he got into that wall pretty hard.
Yeah, the 8 of Gary Nichols and him were fighting it out on turn entry, and then it looked like they made a little bit of contact at entry, and it caused the 53 to chase it up the track.
Well, and that's just the product of these tires and this track. It will happen. The wall looks nice and pretty and yellow right now, but I can promise you by the end of this race, it will not be. It will be covered in different colors: blue, reds, blacks, greens. It will have every color from just about every car out here on the side of it. As it's going to be a very good battle here. And we do want to note here as we go back to the 24 of Jeff Stabnow, he is up to 9th place now. He started 8th. He got that penalty for speeding on pit road. He has worked his way all the way back up to 9th position. Obviously that caution helped him out a little bit. We'll see where he can stack up as he's trying to get by Corey Walters in the 9 machine right now.
Brad Cornell, our front row outside starter, struggling since the drop of the green flag. He's settled around 10th, 11th place, currently in 11th as he fights with the 23 of David Applegate. These guys are battling it out, and they're swapping. Applegate will go low and Cornell will go high one corner, and then they'll swap places on the very next corner.
Yes, they will indeed. And again, they're all chasing Chris White right now. And, as you normally do for us here, do a little cleanup. Let you know that back in 19th through 22nd out of the race right now, Scott Mann is currently out of the race, 31 laps down. Matt Henry, 31 laps down as well in 20th. And it looks like Dan Stuzzi and Brad Carpenter did not start, as they're 38 laps down, and we have completed 38 laps. So those two did not start the race. So it's unfortunate for them that they didn't start here. But again, a huge field here. And also to check in with the 33 of James Coley. He's back in 17th. We saw him get in that wreck earlier, but he is on the lead lap.
He is on the lead lap. That last caution, he was the only car one lap down, so it allowed him to make his way around and get that lead lap status put back on his name. And in fact, now he's gotten around James Dalziel in the 51.
He has indeed, and actually to note, everybody is on the lead lap, so awesome job here considering the tires and just how they're falling off for everyone to be on the lead lap. But we'll take a look here. 9.5 seconds separate Chris
lap down. He's running the high side and then gets a low exit on the corner there for the front stretch, trying to maximize all the speed he can. That's James Dalziel on the 51, and then the 00 of Frank Harris and the 77. We saw those guys get together not too long ago. They're racing side by side, nose to tail once again.
They are indeed, and a good battle for that matter. Again, it doesn't look like the 00 of Frank Harris got that damage repaired. He still caved in the back, so he did not go in and get any damage, or at least not all of it repaired. So that could be slowing him down just a little bit. But he's out there logging laps, and that's what he needs to do if he wants to gain every position he can. Again, if you can log laps now and possibly somebody get knocked out of the race, or 2 or 3 people get knocked out of the race, there you are sitting in a good position.
Anything can happen. This is racing. Speaking of racing, it looks like the front 3 have kind of found a little bit of a spot to run. And they have got some space in between them. Each one is about a half a second behind the one in front of them. So Chris White has a half-second lead over Bryan Barnes, who has a half-second gap over Andy Vogt. That's 1, 2, and 3.
It does indeed. Brett Johnson back there as well in 4th. He's right there just within striking distance if one of these was to mess up and collect them. John Ottenbacher rounds out your 5th place, but he's got a lot of company, as look who's right behind him, Gary Nichols and Jeff Stabnow working his way back to the front, currently in 7th position. That is a nice little battle going on between 5th, 6th, and 7th right now, all trying to get, of course, 5th position from John Ottenbacher.
These 3 cars battling it out. Looks like Gary Nichols is going to wash up the track a little bit, but able to stay in the throttle. But it does open the door for Jeff Stabnow to get down underneath him. And at the stripe, Stabnow has the spot.
Yeah, it does indeed, and that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to get by him, and he does do it to take 6th position. Can he get by his teammate of John Ottenbacher is going to be a whole different ball game. Again, those two, obviously they're going to race each other clean, but they're going to race each other hard. We've talked to them over and over again, and that's what we expect, and that's what they deliver. They're not just going to hand it over just because he is a teammate, especially to someone who's already locked into the chase. He doesn't have to be nice to him and try to get him there and let him have the win. He doesn't need it. He's already in the chase.
The 61 of Gerald Heffley. He's currently running 12. Got the Tide paint scheme on that car. Caught my eye. It's very brightly colored. Some orange and yellows out there. But we haven't talked a whole lot about Gerald Heffley. He's running a very quiet race so far. And sitting 12th place right now.
He is indeed sitting back in 12th place. And he's got some all different colors on that car here. So definitely... if we get a chance, maybe we'll talk to him. He's got a blue and blues and orange whites. Got a lot of different color there, as you were talking about. Definitely catches your eye. So we'll see what inspired that paint job if we get a chance to talk to him. But again, as someone I mentioned that thought we needed to kind of keep an eye on. That is, of course, the 7 of Brett Johnson. He missed the race last week, so he's got to win. He's sitting in 4th place right now, and you can't count him out yet. He may have a shot at possibly getting the win here.
Yeah, Brett Johnson really in danger as far as points go in this whole chase battle. But if he stays right where he's at, puts himself in position to win, and he's got to keep eyes on the leaders to do that, and he's doing exactly what he needs to right now.
Yeah, keep an eye on the leader. And again, that leader is Chris White, who has led every lap so far, which is 49. Keep in mind, this time by when he crosses the line, we will have officially completed lap 50. So this next time by, we will be at the halfway point. Is there the line is right there. Lap 50 is complete. We're halfway done with this race already here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Laps are clicking off quickly. We've only had a few cautions. They've been fairly quick, but we've had 2 long runs here, and we're in the middle of another one. This is going to be a great time to see just how well your car handles in this later stages of the race. If this goes green flag the rest of the way, we're going to see it probably a gamble or two for someone staying out for a little while, but we're going to start seeing some guys hit pit road before too long.
Yeah, it definitely is. Again, 32 to 37 laps is the fuel window, so we are within about 10, 11 laps of the fuel window. About 10 laps, actually, before the fuel window could start if these guys want a short pit. So we'll see if they do here. And it makes you wonder if some of these guys may pit together. Again, it's not about, you don't need the drafting help here at all. But, every little bit helps. If you can get in and out with somebody, it could help. But then again, you have those people that want to pit by themselves, so they don't have to worry about anybody possibly blocking them in their pit, which really doesn't affect it too much here. But it could affect you being able to see where your pit stall is if they're pitting right in front of you.
Yeah, getting on pit road and hitting your pit box is a little difficult, a little tricky, especially if the green flag is out. We're going to see some very, very intense moments for some of these drivers as they try to get on pit road while losing as little time as possible.
Yeah, and that's the key, to lose as little time as possible. And it's almost virtually impossible. You are going to lose some time. You just want to limit it as much as possible. And I venture to say that I would probably be right in saying anyway that when they come down pit road, it is going to be 4 tires and fuel. If anybody actually chanced it with 2 tires, that can almost spell disaster for them.
The only reason I would ever take 2 tires here at Charlotte would be if we are pitting under green flag conditions and there's 2 laps to go. I would try 2 tires in because that would give me just about enough time to get back out on track and hope for the best. Anything more than 2 laps and 4 tires would catch up to me.
Yeah, definitely would. And even that, I think I'm with you. I would probably chance it, but man, would you have to be very careful getting on the gas here for the restart. Is spinning the car here on old tires, even on new tires, is pretty easy to do. So with 50% of your tires worn out, that would make it very tricky. But again, we want to pull up your top 5 here. After 55 laps completed, it is Chris White, Bryan Barnes, Andy Vogt, Brett Johnson, and Jeff Stabnow. Those are your top 5 drivers after now 56 laps completed. And again, it's just been caution-free here since that last caution 25 laps ago. So each run we've had has become longer and longer. And this one is getting into green flag pit stops territory very quickly.
If I was a gambling man, I'd be starting to gamble right about now and do a short pit. Now, I know that's going to mean I got to make one more pit stop, but I would be counting on some yellows here before too long. but I'd like to try and get to pit road. I want to be the first one on pit road. I want to be the first one on those 4 fresh tires, and that is going to allow me to close the gap. Either if I'm behind somebody or if I'm Chris White, that will help me open the gap up a little bit on my competitor Bryan Barnes.
Yeah, and pit stops here, or any track for that matter, on the NASCAR circuit, whether it's the trucks, Xfinity, or the Cup cars, when you start getting long green flag runs like this and you get into pit stops, you know, pit stops under green are kind of monkey see, monkey do. Is you see the leaders come in, you want to come in too. Some people try to chance it and hope a caution comes out, but the safe thing to do is get in and get tires with the leader. Because once that leader comes out on fresh tires and you're running, right now 30.8 is the fastest. You're running 32.6s, so that's 2 seconds slower. Once you get fresh tires, they are going to catch you in a hurry. So you've got to get in there and get on the same tires they have.
For sure. And, looking at best lap times, let's take Bryan Barnes, for example. His best lap time is a 30.880. Last time by, he did a 32.703, almost 2 seconds difference between 4 fresh tires and worn out tires, which they are on. So just think how fast 2 seconds you could close up the field.
Yeah, you really could. And not to mention the fact that if your tires are that worn when it comes to your speed, you're not going to be able to do anything on them to try to get by anyone as well. And that's the real key here. Even if they didn't wear as far as time goes, the fact of you trying to pass anyone on those old tires here with 29 laps on them is going to be virtually impossible. I really think, as based on time, Bryan Barnes is faster, but he doesn't have the tires to try to get by the leader.
Speaking of tires, Brad Cornell is on pit road. He is going to be our first one to take a pit stop, but he is going to lose a lap in the process. Now he's got to hope that everything stays green and he gets out there without any penalties.
He is indeed, and so far it looks good. We'll see if he did get one here shortly, as he would have to come back down pit road, but that is going to put the pressure a little bit on Chris White. And we do apologize here, having to check the phone. Normally would not check a phone during a race, but we are apparently in a flash flood warning until 2:45 a.m. So I do apologize for that. But floods, tornadoes, we don't care. We're going to stay here broadcasting. Hell, if the house is going to flood, might as well be doing what we love to do here, broadcasting the Northwest Xfinity race.
Sure will. And, I'm not surprised that Brad Cornell would be one of the first ones on pit road. He was mired in the middle of the pack, a little bit further behind than where he would like to be. He's going to get these 2 tires as the yellow flag is going to come out, as the 23 of David Applegate and the 77 of Tom Green are spinning down the backstretch and almost collect Brad Cornell in the process.
That was, and that is one of our chase drivers, the 23 of David Applegate. Let's go back and take a look. Only the 3rd caution of the night here in this one involving 2 cars. So we'll go back here and look and see what might have happened. I have a feeling this may have been tire related. Oh, I am not sure what happened, but the 77 just came right up into the 23. I'm wondering maybe if he had a tire go down here. Again, it's a virtual flat. It doesn't necessarily technically, blow up, but I'm wondering if maybe he had a bad tire or a tire go down there, because he shot right up into the 23.
The 77 got a little loose coming off of turn 2, overcorrected. And by the time they hit the middle of the back straightaway, because of how fast they were going, the 23 just got caught up in someone else's incident, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I just saw it there on a different angle. Definitely glad we got you back there looking at the replays. That was a very subtle, getting it loose. It's not like he had the thing completely sideways, but that goes to show you getting it that loose. With these old tires, the slightest little maneuver will spin you out.
Sir Will, and pit stops underway. Everyone coming down. Brad Cornell staying out for now as only the lead lap cars are able to pit.
Yeah, again, in the 8, as we're watching him, Gary Nichols, he flat missed his pit stop. Not sure what was going on there, but he is having definitely a hard time getting in his pit stall. Let's go back here. Let's take a quick look at that. I'm not sure what happened there, but we're going to watch him on pit road here while we're under caution. I'm not sure if he just missed it or if he definitely drove through it. As we'll see here. Let's go back a little bit further here. As he's coming in. Again, that's that difference of going to that concrete. Indeed, he does. He misses his pit stall. And not only did he miss his pit stall, again, we talked about it, he thought he was further up than he was. He didn't see his actual stall with all the other cars on pit road, so that is going to cost him some serious time on pit road.
Yeah, unfortunately for him. And Josh Coley in the 33, he came down pit road and never even saw his pit sign, drove right past it, and had to stop once again.
He did, as he is back on pit road. That is unfortunate for him, but that will give the lead back to the 35 of Chris White, who has led every lap here, 66 laps led. We have a minute here. Let's get Bryan Barnes in the booth here on the radio, if he is in chat, and let's see if he's got a strategy to try to get to Chris White.
I am not seeing Bryan here. Hold on, let me just keep looking. But I do not think he is in this TeamSpeak session.
He is indeed not here, so that is unfortunate that he is not here with us. It's just one of those things. Sometimes we don't get to talk to some people, but I'm sure he'll be here for the post-race show if he finishes in the top 3. But, it'd be cool if we could talk to him, but unfortunately, I don't think it is going to happen here tonight. Not for the during the race, anyway.
Field starting to form up as the lights are gone out on the pace car. Chris White, Bryan Barnes still going to make up your front row for this restart yet again. Andy Vogt and Brett Johnson will make up row 2.
They will indeed here. As there it is, 1 to go. We are going to get this thing revved up and ready. And again, this should be maybe the last caution here, as we'll see. I'm not sure why the overlays are saying lap 68 of 91. That is not how many laps we have here. We do have 100 laps, so I'm not sure why that is acting up on us there. Very interesting to say the least. But we're getting this thing ready to go here, as Chris White will be the leader once again. It is 100 laps, so I do apologize for the overlay saying 91 laps for some reason.
You know what? To err is human, but to really mess up is a computer. And it's jumped to 91 for some reason.
It has indeed. Not sure if that's just on my end or if that is on your end as well, but again, 91 laps is not what we're racing here. We're racing 100 laps, as we'll see. It could be a little error. We'll see once it gets fixed, though, or if it will get fixed. If not, we'll reset the overlays here. But either way, we're racing once again here on lap 69 of 100. And this is going to be a very interesting, as Gary Nichols big time into the inside wall there, and he keeps it going though, but that was a hard lick and pancaked him into the inside wall.
He did, and he just got a little bit of the outside wall, which is what shot him down to the inside. Unfortunately, extensive damage on that thing, not something he wants to have.
No, it's not at all, and it's just unfortunate something there. He got into the outside wall. We didn't have a chance to go back and look, as it didn't bring out a caution. But we're going to watch Bryan Barnes there in that 4. Does he have anything for Chris White here This could get very interesting as you have really your top 5 drivers punched up there, and Jeff Stabenow and Andy Vogt really getting in there, trying to get this lead as well, and so is Brett Johnson. He's up there, so this really grouped everyone back up together again.
It really has, and it's brought in a few more names into the battle here, because Jeff Stabenow, Brett Johnson, John Ottenbacher, these guys are all right there here for a battle for the lead. If someone bobbles, it's going to be a big pileup.
It is indeed, and all of a sudden we're back to a 72 of 100, so laps are being scored properly. I don't know what went on there. Something went haywire with the lap counter, but it is back 100 laps on the books. So that is good, and we are racing, of course, here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just baffled. I don't know what went on, but Bryan Barnes right now running down your leader, Chris White. That last time by, he was faster, 31.127 to a 31.152. He's faster, but again, that doesn't mean anything when you're trying to get by. You've got to make the pass. You can't just wish yourself by because you're faster. You actually have to race by him, and Chris White is going to do everything in his power to keep that 4 behind him.
He sure is, and Bryan Barnes might be a little bit faster, but he might also be chewing up his tires a little bit more, because as this run will take longer, if history repeats itself, Chris White's going to open up a gap.
Yeah, and keep in mind, 2 laps to go. We'll be with 25 to go. So in 2 laps, we will be done with 3/4 of this race. So, once we get to that 20 to go, you'll see in the overlays, it will say 20 to go. We indicate that on the overlay there because that is crunch time. That is go time for these guys. 20 to go, you think 20 laps, that's still a lot of racing. It is. That's still 20 laps. Good amount of racing. But, especially with the tires you have, that is go or go home time. You've got to get to the front. You've got to get up there and do something about leading it. That being said, Chris White has officially led the most laps. Nobody can get that away, so he's locked into 2 bonus points for leading lap and leading the most laps here tonight.
Congratulations to him. He's going for maximum points here tonight. Qualified on pole, leading the most laps. Now, if he could just win this race, he will do exactly what he needs to, advance himself into the next round, and do so not only with a win, but also securing the most points in one race.
Yeah, and again, it's going to take a lot if he wants to get the win. He's got company coming behind him. He was faster that last time by. But again, we've seen it so many times. Somebody leads the most laps, leads all but 1 lap, and doesn't lead that last lap. You can never start counting on victory and celebrating too early. That's when mistakes are made, when you celebrate too early. So he's got to just mind his P's and Q's and stay out ahead of that number 4 Bryan Barnes, even Andy Vogt, Jeff Stabenow. These guys are going to make their moves here shortly, I'm sure. And when they do, it's going to get really dicey up front, especially on old tires.
Sure will. Dicey's a good word for it, because we're going to start seeing these guys slice and dice when they do get up to each other, trying to find a way around. But I got to tell you right now, Jeff Stabenow losing a little bit of ground to Andy Vogt, but Brett Johnson all over the backside of that 24 machine.
Yeah, he is definitely battling very hard. And again, this is really a 3-way battle for the lead. It doesn't look like it. They're not super close together. But indeed, they are close enough that if a mistake was made, they will capitalize on it. Here off of Chris White or Bryan Barnes. One that I expect to see in the top 3, we'll see if he can get up there. That is the 89 of John Ottenbacher. Again, he is someone here that is very good. He's a very fast driver, just right outside the top 5 right now. So I expect to see him get up there. David Applegate in that 23 machine, still a ton of damage to the car as he got back to 12th, but he just hasn't been able to recover since that last incident.
speaking of recovering, Brad Cornell did recover his lap. He was the only one that made a green flag pit stop, but being caught out by the caution that came out just as soon as he pulled off a pit road, trapped him a lap down. But fortunately, he was able to get the free pass or the waiver round and has ended up back on the lead lap. And he is currently running 14th spot.
He is indeed. So number 18, Brad Cornell running a 14th. We'll just have to keep an eye. And so hopefully y'all cannot hear that thunder going off in my background there. It is getting a little dicey outside here. And again, we were talking about dicey. It's going to get dicey up front here shortly with 20 laps to go now. Chris White out front. Can anybody run him down? I still think Bryan Barnes has something for him. But again, time will tell if he does. And can Andy Vogt or Jeff Stabnow get up there as well? But Chris White is definitely doing, like we've said, everything he needs to do right now to get himself into that chase.
16 cars on the lead lap. The last car on the lead lap is the 8 machine of Gary Nichols. We saw him get into the outside wall, tag that inside wall hard, pancaking that left side. Oh, as we got one spinning, and that looks like the 51 of James Dalziel.
It is, and he keeps it below the white line on the apron as the car just broke loose and into the inside wall. It went. So far, no caution because he did keep it below the white line. And we'll see if he's going to go to pit road or if he is going to keep it on, and he is going to go to pit road. So he is out of harm's way now. No caution here with 18 laps to go. If we see a caution here shortly, with 18 to go, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to come down and get tires. Once we get into that, 5 laps to go, 10 laps to go, or about, it would have to be from 6 to 10. I don't know. We may have somebody not take tires.
It's going to be an interesting strategy call here. And another, want to point out once again, we're creeping up on almost 2 seconds fall off from our fastest laps. And I got to wonder, if we go green from here on out, is someone thinking about trying to put tires on and chase down the field?
Yeah, and I'm wondering that myself. The question is, are we going to see a caution? It's just so iffy here. Everyone's doing a pretty good job of keeping their cars clean, single file. So if we get a caution, it's going to be a single car spin. And that being said, if it's a single car spin, it's going to have to be somebody who is in a group, because if they're all by themselves, as we just saw with the 51 of James Dalziel, who is back on the track, if you spin by yourself, get it below the apron, it's not going to bring out a caution. So you're going to have to be in traffic, which could spell disaster for a lot of cars.
It very well could, and if you do look, we're all very kind of spread out here, nose to tail single file right now. Everyone running maybe a little bit different line, but no one's really battling for a spot on the track. Everyone's really busy fighting the car, fighting the track, and holding on for dear life.
They are indeed. As right now, 86 laps completed, and they have gone to Chris White. Again, at this point, I don't know. Maybe Bryan Barnes is holding off. Maybe he just doesn't have anything, as he actually ran a 32.431 on that last lap to Chris White's 32.394. So he has fallen off a little bit. I think his time to get to the front on those newer tires has kind of come and gone. I think he's really at this point trying to hang on to second place.
He's been running in the top 5 all race long, been locked into second, and he's got to be getting tired of looking at that back bumper of Chris White. But unfortunately, just nothing he can do about it. And he's just going to have to dig a little deeper and find something that Chris doesn't have just yet.
Yeah, and that's it. And, keeping in mind here with 13 to go, fixed to be 12 at the line, as there it is, 12 to go. We're all talking about he's got to do everything he's got to do to try to hang on to second. We're still 12 laps in. We could go racing again if we got a caution, and at any time, anybody could spin out. That has been the majority of the cautions that we've seen, as it looks like John Ottenbacher may have been that caution for a minute, but he does recover. He got way out of shape. As I was just saying, I think if we get a caution, it's going to be a single car spin.
Yeah, these cars are really becoming a handful. Drivers are pushing for all they're worth. We got 10 laps to go. You know, at this point, you can't make your pit stop and, you know, under green and get back out there. You don't have enough time, as we got 10 laps to go, 11 laps to go, something like that, as I have to take my shoes off to do actual math. But Bryan Barnes really starting to close in on Chris White now.
He is indeed. He's reeling him in. And that last lap, 32.5 to a 32.7, now 32.6. He has put it into another gear here. I think he may have been holding off a little bit, saving a little bit of tires. The question is, if he's doing that, was Chris White doing that as well? As here comes the 4 of Bryan Barnes. Again, those are 2 chase drivers right now. And I may have been wrong. That window for Bryan Barnes may not be over yet. And we may see a good battle for the lead.
Bryan Barnes and the Atlas Finishers team came into tonight 4th in points, looking to lock himself in with a race win maybe. He's got to get around the 35 of Chris White. And Chris White, he wants a win as well, so this is going to be a battle that will not go quietly.
It is not going to go quietly at all. 9 laps to go, going to be 8 at the line. So right now is a crucial time for Bryan Barnes. He has got to get by him quickly. You know, right now, neither one of them are lifting at all. They're going full throttle all the way out. They're going to wear these tires out very quickly. They've got, for Bryan Barnes, he has got to make the pass soon. If he doesn't, his tires are going to be worn out even more. They're going to be shot, and his chances of getting by are going to slip. However, if he can keep the pressure on the 35 and wear his tires out too, he could potentially cause him to make a mistake or get loose and get by him that way. So he has 2 ways to get by him. But what they also have to keep in mind is that 10 of Andy Vogt. He's not pushing it as hard as they are. You know, if these 2 push it too hard, they could wear them tires out, and he could possibly sneak up there.
Entirely possible, and we got just a few laps for everything to shake out. Jeff Stabnow, Andy Vogt, those guys 3rd and 4th, kind of on the outside looking in for this race win. But anything could happen between Chris White and Bryan Barnes, and if it does, these 2 need to be ready for it.
It is indeed. As that time by, Chris White was a 10th faster as they're coming across the line here again. Here going out anyway. Oh, never mind, they already did. 6 to go. But they'll take a look. That time, Bryan Barnes was faster. So these 2 are really swapping it back and forth as to who's faster. I think it's really, at this point, not a matter of tires. It's a matter of who can get the line. As here goes the 4. He is all over the bumper of the 35. He may make a move here in the next lap or 2.
He did. He got right on the back bumper. Looking to the inside. Chris White holding that inside line for now. Not allowing Bryan Barnes underneath him. Barnes peeking to the inside. Going to make his move on the outside here and try and get a momentum built up for this long backstretch.
Yeah, and we heard Chris White say earlier during that mid-race interview, he's made the bottom work for him earlier, so really Bryan Barnes is going to have to make his pass methodically here. He's going to have to think it out, as it looks like maybe the 4 of Bryan Barnes is playing some head games with the 35. And, based on the actions I'm seeing out of the 35, I don't blame him at all here with 4 to go. He may be doing some blocking there, trying to keep that 4 behind him.
I wouldn't say that 35 is doing anything blocking-wise. He might be, well, you know what? Just as soon as I say that, they go off into turn 3, and it looked like Chris White definitely trying to keep him back there. But, blocking and taking the lane away from somebody are, I think, 2 different things. Haven't really seen Chris White yank the wheel to try and keep Bryan Barnes behind him. Changing your lineup to make someone go somewhere they don't want to be, it's a little bit of a strategic move, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll definitely go with that one. It's all about taking away their momentum. And a good way to do that is what you said, getting in their line. If you get in the line that they want, that's where they need to make the move at. If they can't do it, you're effectively taking that momentum away from them. Here we are now with 2 to go. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but he is definitely going to try here. I think he has probably one more good shot at it.
Yeah, Bryan Barnes looks like he gets off a turn 2 really good this time, looking to the inside but unable to get there by the time they hit the corner. He's going to have another shot down this long back straightaway. If he's going to be able to do it, I think that's where he's going to have to make his move. I feel like he's stronger coming out of turn 2 than Chris White is.
Is indeed, and there it is, 1 to go, presented by Northwest Racing Series. Again, a white flag in the air. This is it. He has 1 lap to do it. Can the 4, Bryan Barnes, get by your race leader? And here he comes, diving to the inside, and he actually gets it out of shape, almost spins it, saves it. What a save for Bryan Barnes. That's going to secure the win for the 35 of Chris White, unless he spins himself out. But what a save for the 4 of Bryan Barnes.
I pooed myself a little when I saw Bryan yank that wheel. I thought we were going to lose both first and second, and one little mishap, but both drivers able to keep going. And you know what, Bryan Barnes, heck of a job getting that thing back under control.
It was indeed. As we'll take a look, separated by 0.428 after that. Andy Vogt going to be bringing home 3rd place. He is currently 12th in points, so he is not a chase driver, but that will be great for Bryan Barnes and Chris White, as Chris White going to be locked in to the chase, and that will probably do a good job of securing Bryan Barnes into it, as well as he will probably take over 3rd place in points. As you're watching the 35 of Chris White do some donuts here, we'll be right back with your post-race show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with your post-race show. And, of course, it doesn't look like we are going to get a word in with Bryan Barnes for 2nd place. We'll see if we can here in a little bit. Well, we do have 3rd place, and it looks like, KR, you have caught up with him, so we will hand the mic over to you.
I do have 3rd place, the 10 machine piloted by Andy Vogt, getting it done out here for 3rd spot. Had an interesting race, and that you were up front most of the race. Tell us a little bit about what you saw out there tonight, and how does it feel to get 3rd and help your cause?
Well, I tell you, it's nice to be back on the podium again twice in a row now. This is starting to actually make a little bit of forward progress here going into Pocono. I'm going to be looking forward to that because that is one of my favorite tracks. I'll tell you, this race was something else. These cars were a bear. They wanted to do nothing but push all the way through the corners. About 15 laps in, they just started getting loose, back in, wanted to go everywhere. It was just a constant fight trying to keep the wheels underneath us.
Now, when the tires start falling off, what are you doing to fight this car? How are you able to keep it under control as well as you did tonight?
A lot of it was a little bit of line adjustment. You had to avoid getting down low into the corners after about 15 laps. Ducking down too low, if you started to get into the throttle a little bit too soon, the back end just wanted to come right around. So a lot of it was just, maintaining a little bit different line as the tires wore out. The problem was, with the way that the car was pushing, you couldn't really set up very high. If you got up too high, the car just wanted to go straight to the wall.
Whatever it was doing, you found a way to make it work, finishing third here tonight. Now, coming up, we're in the chase, and you're a little bit on the outside looking in, but what does this say about maybe next season for everyone paying attention to your team?
Well, next season, it'll be a little bit, getting a little improvement here, getting the practice in. This is the first season running the cars, so the fixed setups in the cars are a little bit new for me. So it's all practice right now and just getting set up, hopefully for a better run next season.
All right, Andy. Well, hey, great run tonight. Like you said, podium 2 weeks in a row, so congratulations on that. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, I look forward to it as well.
Any sponsors, people you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to you guys there in the MSTV booth. Without you, we wouldn't have these televised races. And of course, I have to give a shout out to Highway, New Leader, Walls Beard Co. Without our sponsors, we wouldn't get to do this every week.
All right, man, that's Andy Vogt finishing third here tonight. And I believe Charles has our race winner.
I do indeed have our race winner, the 35 of Chris White. Again, 100 laps is what we ran. 100 laps is what you led. You led every single lap here tonight. I'd venture to say you led the most laps here by far. So, most of the race wasn't too eventful for you here as you were up front the whole time. But those last probably, 20 laps there, we saw the four Bryan Barnes before he got loose and almost spun it out there with about 2 to go. He was reeling you in a hurry. So a few questions I want to know. One, did he get to you a little bit, maybe kind of rattle your cage a little bit, maybe think maybe he had something for you? And two, if not, were you holding back a little bit to conserve tires as well?
Guys, I can't say I was holding back. I was fighting for everything I had right there. I think the four might have been playing that game, holding back a little bit because he did reel me in. And I tell you, if there was a couple more laps, another lap or two, I think he might have had something for me. I don't think I got into him. I don't think he got into me there, right there on the last lap. I think he got a little loose there or something. I'm not sure what happened. But man, what a race.
Yeah, looking from our view, he just, is a product of really old tires, and he was trying to get it up there to you and try to catch you. Just unfortunately didn't quite work out. If it had stuck, I think he may have had a run at you, but unfortunately with those old lap tires, it just didn't stick the way he wanted it. And ended up getting it loose. A good job to save it. Really wanted to talk to him about that. That was a heck of a save by his part. But, most importantly here, this gets you the win. That locks you into the chase, going to the next round. So, as always, we know that's going to relieve a lot of pressure off of you. Going in the next week, kind of just a fun week, you might say, as you don't have that, per se, pressure to have to win. As I'm trying to look here, we'll see what next week is. Pocono. So, not sure if Pocono is one of your favorite tracks, but going to it knowing you don't have that pressure, does it definitely help you knowing that Pocono is kind of the tricky triangle?
It's competitive out here, but each race is fun. It's fun to come out here and race with these guys. It definitely relieves the stress factor. I'm trying to solidify my spot in the chase, and I've done that tonight. So next week there's no pressure. It's just seat time. It's just keeping myself familiar with the car and hitting my marks. And the Tricky Triangle, Pocono, it's a fun track to run, and I'm looking forward to next week for sure.
Well, definitely we'll be looking forward to seeing you there. So we know you got some sponsors. On top of that, any shout-outs you want to give anyone out there watching? We know you had quite a few fans in chat tonight.
Oh, yeah, certainly. You see the crowd here, too. Charlotte Motor Speedway, man, it was packed. But definitely, I got DeWalt and Amazon and Logitech on the car again. Again, SimStar Motorsports Facebook page. Interested in those products, check it out. I got to thank, excuse me, the guys that put the series on. Couldn't do it without them, just as Andy said a few minutes ago. All the sponsors help make this happen and provide this platform for us to come and enjoy ourselves and race and have fun and be competitive. And Highway, new leader, Waltz Beer Co. And, of course, you guys up there in the booth, MaxSpeedTV. Just as Andy said, we wouldn't be broadcasted without you guys. So appreciate it. Appreciate everything you guys do up there.
All right, well, again, congrats on the win, locking yourself into the next round of the chase. That being said, we still have, of course, 2 more pieces of business to take care of here for the night. One of those being your unofficial race results, of course. So, Carol, if you want to run through the top 10, I will finish this off here tonight.
Chris White, my pick for race win, got it done, qualified fastest, led the most laps, and won the race. So when I picked Chris White, I could tell in practice this was the one to go with. Had to go with him. Did it to perfection. Bryan Barnes falling a little bit short. Tried to make his move, but just got a little too much wheel put into it. Got a little squirrely going into turn number 3 on the white flag lap. But a superb bit of driving kept him off of Chris White and kept him off the wall and allowed him to finish second. Andy Vogt quietly finishing third. Jeff Stabnow, up and down race for him, going to end up 4th place. John Ottenbacher solidly in the top 5. 6th place will be Brett Johnson in the 7 machine. Carl Burke in the 53 is going to finish 7th. 8th place will be Corey Walters. Frank Harris will be 9th. And rounding out your top 10 will be David Applegate.
In 11th place will be Gerald Heffley. 12th place will be Brandon Weinberg. 13th will be Brad Cornell. 14th, Josh Coley. 15th will go to Gary Nichols, who, again, had a fairly good run until the later half of the race. 16th will go to Mike Peterson. 17th, James Dalziel. 18th will go to Tom Green. 19th, Brad Carpenter, who was 100 laps down here, had some issues early in the race. And 20th will go to the 78 of Dan Astuzzi, who also had some issues early in the race. And then, of course, the drivers not starting here tonight, or actually did start, I believe, so apologies for that. Scott Mann, did he start? I don't remember. Scott Mann finishing in the 21st, and the 22nd will be Matt Henry. So those two did start. I'm not sure why they're being scored way down there, but they did start here tonight, so I apologize for that. But that'll do it here for your unofficial race results. Again, barring any race control issues that we have to take, or that they have to take care of. We ain't going to take care of them. But we want to get to all the sponsors that make this possible here. Excuse me, had a cough there. Well, of course, Walls Beard Co. for all your beard balm needs. If you've got a beard, you need to check them out at wallsbeardco.com. All organic and natural products, so definitely make sure you check them out. SimSpeedShop.com. If you're an iRacer, you need one of their button boxes or their e-brakes if you are a rallycross racer, so make sure you check them out at SimSpeedShop.com to get you a customized button box today. Northwest Racing Series. This series here, they are the official one-to-go sponsors for all races. So again, that is by them. Definitely, if you're looking to get into some truck racing or Xfinity racing, if you are in the Northwest Club here on iRacing, check them out and look to join. Ohio IndyCar League. If you need some great IndyCar racing in your life, check them out at Ohio IndyCar League. You can get all the latest information at facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League. Again, they are not just taking Ohio club members anymore. iPog, iRacing Broadcast, Overlay and Graphics, your sim broadcast graphics source. Check them out at ibog.co if you are looking to get into broadcasting or just need some overlays for your stream. And the one that we thought you had in here, we have them marked, but we didn't have the logo for some reason. That is Hershey, the Hershey Design Company. So make sure you check these guys out if you need an awesome looking paint here on iRacing for your car. What a better way to get it painted than checking out the Hershey Design Company. They can get you hooked up with some awesome looking rides. Again, Walls Beard Co. here for the racing side of things. Just talked about them. Hit them up if you need some beard products. And of course, there are two divisions of the presenting sponsor here. That is Highway Equipment Company. You can check them out at highwayequipment.com. One of them is on your screen, a new leader. That's one division, and the other is Highway. So make sure you check them out. Some great products there if you need anything for the highway, of course, or for your farming needs. Check them out at highwayequipment.com. That being said, we are wrapping it up here tonight. KR, any final words before we call it a night?
Excellent Charlotte race. Did not disappoint. Northwest Xfinity Series never disappoints to begin with. But man, oh man, was this a spectacular race at Charlotte. We saw a lot of great racing side by side. Saw some great talent come through. And we saw some great saves also. And we saw some not so great incidents for some drivers like Gary Nichols in the 8. That just part of racing. This was all around just a great race.
It was indeed another great race, as always, here for the Northwest Xfinity Series. So we will be back again tomorrow with the race core race here. I will anyway, as I believe KR said he has the night off. We have a lot of racing going on Tuesdays, nights, and throughout the week. So as always, stay tuned, have a safe night, and we'll see you at the next race here on MaxSpeedTV.